And then the cognitive components, critical thinkers can think independently. Defining problems accurately. So if you've got an ethical decision, a decision that you have to make, you want to be able to define the problem accurately about what the issue is. Should I call the police? Should we go through the TCI? Should we, should I do this or that? So you want to be able to identify the problem accurately. Critical thinkers employ a variety of thinking processes to problem solving. So it's not just one way to solve a problem. There's different processes to solve any problem. Synthesizing we had discussed. Resisting overgeneralizations, and I also teach that in the cultural competence course. You can't generalize or overgeneralize, or all generalizations are false. But that's a generalization. So you don't want to overgeneralize. Everybody is not everything, or you can't put everybody is this, everybody is that. In employing metacognition, that's what Lisa Fran had asked, critical thinkers are able to think about their own thinking, or analyze their own thinking process. So when we look at critical thinking, you see how involved it is there, how much information you need to have, and that's a lot to take in. I don't know if you've seen it dissected like that. I mean, that is what critical thinking is. So people who know about critical thinking know all about that. So if someone says they're a critical thinker, or if you say you're a critical thinker, you want to be kind of ready to know that behavioral, affective, and the three components to it. There's three components of critical thinking: behavioral, affective, and cognitive.
It's probably a good thing to carry around.
Yes, it's a good thing to carry around. And say that.
I'm serious.
Say that.
Before you jump into something,
yeah.
we can go on shopping. Well, should I get this? Should I get that? Or do this or that? Gee, let me look at my list.
Okay. I'll give you an example. I met with over at the college. I met with the dean of the head of my department, and he had mentioned something about critical thinking. And that we were discussing critical thinking skills, and I said something about, well, I'm a critical thinker, and I love, because I value truth above self-interest. I am a seeker of the truth. And he was he says, I was glad you said that, because, most people talk about critical thinking or discuss critical thinking, and they don't even know what it is, he said. So so then we talked about other stuff about critical thinking, so I could see he knows about critical thinking. And he's a doctor, he said, but, he knows about critical thinking. So you want to portray that and present that, because the people who know what it is, you will impress them if you can rattle some of that stuff off. I would be impressed, or people don't use it, because I see if you put on your resume, excellent critical thinking skills.
You put that on your resume?
Oh yeah.
Do you really?
Oh, I do.
Where do you put that?
I just put it in my highlights of things that are highlighted.
Really?
Yeah, proficient with Word, Access, Excel, you put that down where it says must be proficient with Word, Excel, PowerPoint,
right?
All those other things that they do,
right?
I put that down in the highlights.
Thinking skills, all right.
Documentation is an important part of what we do, Tara, right? Documentation and those forms and treatment plans, I put proficient in documentation. And I put that in there. And I said, able to employ critical thinking skills, or excellent creative problem solving skills. So if somebody who's reading that will know what that means. I'm not just putting it down.
Right.
I'm putting it down. Remember your reader. I'm putting it down to the person who's reading the resume.
Right.
And if I'm reading that, and if I'm doing an interview, I'm going to ask them, well, what are the three components of critical thinking skills? See, I'm not going to do that to somebody for a job, but I'm going to know if they know about it. So if you put down on a resume, always put that down. Actually, from now on, have you ever put that down? Always put that down from now on. Able to employ critical thinking skills, or excellent critical thinking skills. And like with other skills, when I say skills, skills are something that you do. Skills are something that you practice and you will get better at. Like a carpenter. A carpenter can't make a cabinet right away. He might be able to measure something, but carpentry skills are those that make those beautiful cabinets and stuff like that. That is a skill that takes many years sometimes. Critical thinking skills, if you have that now and you go about trying to incorporate that into your thinking process, it's a skill like anything else. You will get better at it and better at it. And you want to put that down in your resume. Able to employ critical thinking skills or excellent critical thinking skills. So the person reading the resume knows.
Some of these things are part of the principles of the social worker.
Yeah, which ones?
Or like, empathy.
Yes.
Non-judgmental.
Those are counseling skills.
Counseling skills.
Those are counseling skills.
Yeah.
Under motivational interviewing or client-centered counseling, to be empathetic is one of the skills.
Right.
So I mean, we're counselors. I mean, we're counselors and social workers, psychotherapists. But this is an ethics course for addiction professionals. But this is an ethics course in your counseling skills. So, but to have critical thinking skills as part of that will only strengthen your counselor skills. With me, even, whatever course I'm teaching at the college, it's all about counseling for me. These are counseling skills. Just even now, standing up, or that little exercise we did last week with the motivational interviewing and identifying the patient's motivation for being in treatment. It's always about counseling for me. These are counseling skills. This is a course on ethics, but it's ethical and counseling skills. And critical thinking is part of counseling. Because you want to be in that session. You want to bring everything to the counseling session that you have. But you also want to be a better counselor. I mean, part of ethics is wellness, counselor wellness. Part of ethics is counselor wellness. So you've got to take care of yourself. Through clinical supervision, through peer support, through education and training like we're doing here. But you need to be a healthy counselor. If you want to do get the best treatment for your clients, your patients, you've got to be a good counselor. You've got to take care of yourself, health-wise. Counselor wellness. So, counselor wellness is part of ethics. Clinical supervision is part of ethics. Peer support, calling your friend, calling someone is part of ethics. Because the better you are emotionally, the better counselor you can be. You can't be a counselor and somebody come into a counseling session and be, "Hey, sit down, it's okay. It's all right." Say, "You all right?" "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. But it's all right. It's your session. I'm going to be all right." You can't be it's that person. Right? Can you be a good counselor if that's what's going on with you, something serious like that going on? No. So this is all about counseling skills. And critical thinking, ethical decision making is about being a better counselor. And being a healthy counselor. And not getting yourself into situations that you can't get out of. Okay?
God, being in situations
That you can't
you
get
can't
out
get out
of.
of.
That you can't get out of.
Oh,
This is what it's about. Okay? Don't get yourself in a situation that you can't get out of. You want to avoid those. Okay?
alrighty.
Keep that with you. When you get home, edit your resume. Okay? All right, so we're a little ahead of schedule, but we have a small group, so we'll take our break now and then we'll come back and
What's the next session?